Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you never miss any video lessons from Rouse IAS Study Circle. Join the official Telegram channel of Rouse IAS Study Circle to stay updated and get all the materials on Telegram. The link to the channel can be found in the description box. Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take MCQs based on important news and articles from the Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper. Topics that we are going to take up today are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. The first question in today's discussion is related to this news article. This was appeared in the Hindu newspaper. It is related to Great Indian Bustards. Now, before taking up the practice question, if you look at the previous year question papers, UPSC has generally asked many questions related to the endangered species like Great Indian Bustards in the prelims examination. For example, look at this previous year question, which came in year 2020. Now, let's look at the practice question. It is about the details of Great Indian Bustards. Let's come to the first statement. It is the state bird of Rajasthan. This statement is correct as it is a state bird of Rajasthan. Its population of about 150 in Rajasthan accounts for 95% of its total world population. It is a flagship grassland species of India. They are mainly in Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan, including the Desert National Park, which is the natural habitat of the species. They are also spotted in the grasslands of Kutch in Gujarat, which is home to second largest bustard population in India. Another important fact which you must be aware about is that it is one of the largest flying birds in the world and India's heaviest flying bird. Now, let's come to the second statement. It is listed in Schedule 2nd of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. This statement is incorrect as it is listed in Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It is listed in Appendix 1 of CITES and critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. One should also know the protection severity of Schedule 1 of Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It covers endangered species that need rigorous protection. Few animals covered under this schedule are like Bengal tiger, Asiatic cheetah, etc. So let's come to this question. Here we have to find out the correct statements. So our statement first is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So our correct answer is A, that is 1 only. Now the second question of today's discussion is also from the Hindu newspaper. It is related to the recent reports on illegal tree cutting in Jim Corbett National Park. Some of you might already aware of this news that according to the recent Forest Survey of India, over 6,000 trees were illegally cut to make the way for Pakhora Tiger Safari project at the Corbett Tiger Reserve. In the previous year questions also we have seen that UPSC has asked the several questions on the protected areas, its importance, locations, etc. And this question is from the year 2018. It was about the location of Pakhui Wildlife Sanctuary. As you can see, the correct answer of this question is option A, that is Arunachal Pradesh. Now, let's come to the practice question. Here, you have to identify the correct location of the following national parks. The first option is Jim Corbett National Park is located in Himachal Pradesh. This option is incorrect as Jim Corbett National Park is a forested wildlife sanctuary in Uttarakhand. Now let's come to the second option. Kuno National Park is located in Maharashtra. Again, this option is incorrect as Kuno National Park is located in Madhya Pradesh. It was established in 1981. Recently, it was in news due to its reintroduction of African cheetahs. Now, let's come to the last option. That is, Nagarhole National Park is located in Karnataka. This option is correct. It might be interesting to note that it forms a critical connecting habitat for tigers and elephants to other areas of Western Ghats through Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary and to the Eastern Ghats through Bandipur Tiger Reserve. And another way to solve this MCQ is that if you follow Hindu newspaper religiously, then you know that Kuno National Park is in Madhya Pradesh because recently it was in news. So you can easily eliminate option B, C and D. So we left with only one option, that is option A. That is 3 only. So our correct answer is option A, 3 only. Now let's come to the next question based on this article from the Indian Express. And it says, to push MSME housing credit in the hinterland, government plans to involve regional rural banks. So now let's come to the practice question. Here we have to identify correct statements with respect to micro sector enterprises. So our first statement is the micro sector enterprises account for more than 95% of MSMEs enterprises in India. This statement is correct as microsector with 630.52 lakh estimated enterprises accounts for more than 99% of total estimated number of MSMEs. Let's come to the second statement. More than 75% of MSME enterprises are in rural areas. This statement is incorrect as 51% of MSME are in rural areas and 49% of MSMEs are in urban areas. Now our last statement is, in terms of activity, the manufacturing enterprises account for the highest share of MSME enterprises. This statement is again incorrect as in terms of activity, MSME registered in trade and services category account for the highest share. So here we have to identify the correct statement. So option B, C and D. All these options are incorrect because second and third statements are incorrect statements. The only correct option is A, that is 1 only. Now the inspiration of our next question is from these articles from the Hindu newspaper. This one is about indigenous light combat aircraft Tejas which will be able to carry and launch the BRAHMOS supersonic cruise missile, and this one is about ballistic missile Agni Prime which was successfully test fired from the Odisha coast. Now let's come to the practice question. Now why we have picked question on this theme? Because UPSC has asked multiple questions on various missiles occupied by India, and this question is from the year 2014 and it is about Agni 4 missile. Now let's come to the practice question. Here you have to identify the correct statements. Now let's come to the statement first. The BRAHMOS, that is BRAHMOS NG next generation, is a bigger version of the existing supersonic cruise missile BRAHMOS. This statement is incorrect as BRAHMOS NG is a smaller version of the existing supersonic cruise missile BRAHMOS. It was created to be deployed on ground-based, aerial, surface and underwater-based platforms. The size of this missile enables it to be launched even from the torpedo rooms of submarines. The BRAHMOS NG is smaller in size and weight as compared to the original missile. The missile has a range of 290, that is 290 km, and a speed of up to 3.5 Mach. Another important fact is BRAHMOS NG has a lesser radar cross-section compared to the earlier missile, which would make it tougher for air defense systems to locate and engage the target. You should also know that BRAHMOS NG is developed by BRAHMOS Aerospace Limited. It is a joint venture between India and Russia. Now let's come to the second statement. Agni Prime is a medium-range nuclear-capable ballistic missile having maximum strike range of 2000 km. This statement is correct as Agni missiles are long-range nuclear weapons capable surface-to-surface ballistic missiles. The first missile of the series, that is Agni 1, was developed under the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program and tested in 1989. Agni P or Agni Prime is a medium-range ballistic missile developed by DRDO as a successor for Agni 1 and Agni 2 missiles with range capability between 1000 to 2000 km. So here we have to identify the correct statements. So our first statement is incorrect and second statement is correct. So our correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. Now Let's come to our next question, which is based on this article from the Hindu newspaper. This article is about the challenges faced by the coffee sector. Now, before answering practice question, we should know that UPSC has asked question based on organizing committees and its responsibilities, like in year 2022. There was a question based on tea board. So now let's come to the practice question. Here we have to identify the correct statements regarding coffee board. Now let's come to the first statement. The coffee board is a statutory body. Now to answer this, one must know that during the 1940s, the coffee industry in India was in desperate state due to the Second World War, resulting in very low prices and ravages of pests and diseases. At this time, the government of India established a coffee board through a constitutional act, that is Coffee Act 7 of 1942. So as you know that statutory bodies are those bodies which are established by an act of parliament. So here our first statement is correct. Coffee board is a statutory body. Now let's come to the second statement. It is a regulatory body attached to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. This statement is incorrect as it is a regulatory body under the administrative control of Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The board comprises of 33 members including the chairman and the secretary and chief executive officer. The remaining 31 members represent the various interests such as coffee growing industry, coffee trade interests, members of parliament, etc. The board functions through 6 statutory committees which are appointed for 1-year term each. Its head office is in Bangalore, Karnataka. Now here we have to identify the correct statements. So our first statement is right and our second statement is incorrect. So our correct answer is A. That is 1 only. Our next practice question is based on Himalayas, which is based on this article from the Hindu newspaper. UPSC has asked multiple questions related to Himalayas, its mountain ranges, rivers, etc. This question is from the year 2017. This question checks your familiarity and understanding on India's map. Now come to the practice question. Here you have to identify the correct sequence of occurrence of the following mountain ranges in Himalayas as one proceeds from north to south direction. Your options are: first one is Zaskar, second is Shivalik, third is Pir Panjal and fourth one is Ladakh. Now to answer this, it would be better to go through the India's physical map before you listen to the explanation. To answer this question, one must know that the Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. A number of valleys lie between these ranges. The northernmost range is known as the Great or Inner Himalayas or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range, consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 600 meters. It consists all prominent Himalayan peaks like Ladakh, Zaskar are part of it. Ladakh lying north of Zaskar. That means our fourth option Ladakh will come first and Zaskar will come next. Now the range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system and is known as Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters and the average width is of 50 km. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range, the Dauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also prominent ones. Now the outermost range of the Himalayas is called Shivaliks. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik are known as Dunes. Dehradun, Kotli Dun and Patli Dun are some of the well-known dunes. Thereby, Pir Panjal will come as third and Shivalik as fourth. Now, if we proceed from north to south, our first is Ladakh, that is option 4. Second is Zaskar, that is option 1. Next is Pir Panjal, that is option 3. And the last one is Shivalik, that is option 4. So the correct sequence is 4132. So our answer is D. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.